In this episode, we're going to quickly delve into some of the modifications I've been working on with our G-Shock watches. We're going to jump into the buyee website, and guess what? The $100 million G-Shock watch is back, and we've found some first generation MRGs that are below $200. Let's go check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the G-Shock Watcher. It's been a while since we've jumped around the buyee website to have a look at some interesting deals. We've been doing a lot of work on some modifications of watches recently, and I wanted to give you an update in terms of where that's heading. Okay, so our modding story started off with this. This watch was a GW M5610R. I like this one because of the orange and the black. You can actually sort of see on there, right? There's kind of hints of purple around it as well. When I took delivery of this watch, and I bought it with the intention of modding at some point, but the actual wristband was split, the resin wrist. So I managed to get this wristband, and I liked it because of the orange highlights on the band, which kind of match up with this. But I'm not terribly happy with the length. I don't like the fact I have to fold it back on itself when I wear it. But it was the first attempt at a mod. Second mod that I actually did then was an attempt to do this one. Now this was the white digital square, which was a GW M5610MD, and nothing wrong with the watch at all. It was a white resin watch, but it was starting to get a bit discolored. So I bought this one off AliExpress, the actual case or the bracelet. The first bracelet I bought failed miserably, and I was really anxious to see how well I could do it a second time and if I'd done irreparable damage to the watch. But as it turns out, this was a much better kit. It's got all of the branding on there, the G-Shock, the protection, even on the bracelet itself, G-Shock, and it came up looking pretty good. I was almost hoping some of the white would come through from the original casing, because you might get a bit of a Stormtrooper look, and it's kind of underneath there, so just hints. But this was actually a really nice modification. So we had those two done. Then everybody started talking about Casioks, so I tried to do something similar to Casiok. So I bought this as well. And this one, it's a bit plain, but it's very weighty. It's a fairly solid watch and bracelet. And so that was actually using a GAB 2100. So all of these three watches all came off of AliExpress, and then all came off buyee, and then modifications. This was a local site in Singapore, this was AliExpress, and this was AliExpress as well. The next watch I want to do is one I just got from buyee as well, which is this one, and this is another GA B2100. There's probably a better model number with it, but this is the caution yellow design. As you can sort of see, the yellow is quite striking. So I'd like to modify this. Now I know when I modify this, I'm going to lose the yellow G-Shock protection, but I'm going to be able to keep the yellow on the inside. I don't want to change the face at all because I kind of like that yellow on black. So that caution yellow will be the next one. I still have in backup, well, not really backup, but this is the other one. So you can see the difference between the two, or the similarities, right? Same design, Bluetooth, touch solar. But this one was the first one I bought, so I haven't really touched it. It's kind of a keepsake, but this is the next one to go ahead and actually modify. And for the modifications for this particular watch, we're going to go with something like an SK mod kit, because I'd like to try out something a little bit more significant for this. And that one's making me very nervous because that modification kit will actually cost more than the watch itself, so could be in trouble with the wife. But there you have it, the evolution of modifications. Shame our light is sort of going on top of that, but that's where we're headed, and hopefully we'll be able to get some nice outcomes with our caution yellow. So moving on from the modifications, let's jump into some of the watches here. So let's first start off with, always we should check out the most expensive watches and see what we actually have. And of course, at the very top of our list the $100 million Sing watch is back again, and I don't know why, but they keep coming back, and maybe they're hoping that somebody will misclick the button and rope somebody in for $100 million for a fairly crappy looking G-Shock, but they keep coming up, so it's interesting. But there's one watch, that I like. There's actually multiple watches that I like, to be honest. If I had unlimited money and if I was a super successful YouTube influencer, please like and subscribe. Is the Frogmans. They're here, but at 10,000, this price for a Frogman is fairly expensive. You could buy one brand new retail. There are some cheaper ones that you could go ahead and get. Some of the white ones are kind of nice as well. They're packaged up pretty well. But there's one in my watch list, which if I come down a little bit, the most expensive one, which I can sort of find, which is unique, is this one, the Japan Year of the Tiger watch. I think this is a very, very cool watch. It's about 5,000, so we're not really at the highest end of expense, but after buying a Year of the Dragon watch, I kind of feel like it might be an opportunity to try and hunt down all the different years of the Zodiac. So I've got a Year of the Dragon. I need to work towards maybe some of the other ones. I've seen the Year of the Tiger before. I've seen that in Shanghai. I've seen that in Australia. Year of the Rabbit watches are kind of cool as well. So that might be one of the missions, but at 5,000 a pop, I think I'm going to have to convince my darling wife to let me go ahead and actually do that. So that's an interesting one, the Year of the Tiger watch. But coming back to some of the watches I think are really interesting this week to talk about. There's this one here, which is a titanium watch, a full titanium. It goes for typically around about $2,000 Sing. And so right now it's at about $1,100 Sing. So this is actually a pretty decent priced watch. But I will say, $1,000 for a watch, it's a module which is not dissimilar to something that we've done previously. Now I don't want to say this watch will rival this watch. I mean, this is a official G-Shock titanium, right? And you can actually see on the actual face itself, it says titanium, tough solar. I'm assuming that should be multi-band 6 as well. And nice embossing on the actual bracelet. But this is one I took from a standard bracelet and turned this one into a titanium, assuming this is real from AliExpress. They said this is a titanium bracelet. It feels kind of nice. It feels kind of light and robust. And it has all the brandings as well, the protection, the G-Shock on the back. And that one probably cost me around about $250 Singapore to make. So if you're not hung up on the actual original one, you can have some fun and make a very cool titanium bracelet watch that would look like this, but not exactly the same. So if you don't have lots of money, you can have some fun and do some of the modding. But that's a cool kind of watch. The other ones that I wanted to talk about, there's two sets of watches which I'm actually getting very excited about. One is because it's by a modder who has done some very, very ornate modding. And two, those MRGs we talk about, MRGs are typically the highest end for G-Shock watches. Someone's put up some options for some very original or first generation MRGs, and that's kind of exciting. So if we go back to our watch list here and have a look, what you're going to find down here, I won't worry, we've got some Dragon Ball ones. This one's overpriced. I do like this this Tough Solar one with the different colors. That's kind of cool from a modding point of view. Journey to the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, interesting kind of watch. These ones here, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 watches, these are actually first generation MRGs, right? So if we go back here, I was doing some research on these MRGs. These are the MRGs, and so you can see typically as you go along. Here's some of our really expensive ones, the ones we like. Sorry, I should switch over. Here's some of our MRGs, and you can see the very expensive ones here that I would love to own, but certainly don't have the price point to be able to own them. This is a $10,000 MRG. If we go down here a little bit more, this one is the Bruce Lee MRG. That's kind of cool. But closer to the top, we've got our original MRGs. And so this is obviously the very first one, July 1996. Doesn't have tough solar, doesn't have all the multi-band stuff, early days. November 1996, November 1996. So obviously as we go across November 1998, we start to get into the next generation one. So this particular person has a MRG 100T-8. They have a MRG 207 SS. So 100, that's 1,100, here we go, 100. This is a 50,000 yen watch. So what are we looking at? 50,000 yen, 50,000. That's a $445 Sing watch. And it's currently going for around about $155. But the price itself is not the thing which I'm excited about. What I'm excited about is this is from 1996. It's a first generation MRG watch. Now that's kind of cool. It's not the very first generation, but it's very, very early on. The other one, which is more interesting, is these guys. These two are the first analog MRGs, right? So as you see later on, pretty much most of the MRGs are typically analog. You've got some digital squares, but the majority are analog. And what's interesting, here's some of the things which is kind of unique. Notice that on these watches, the crown is predominantly on the left-hand side of the watch, whereas most watches have crowns on the right-hand side, right? I mean, even a lot of the Swiss watches, I mean, just as a example, I'm actually wearing a Tissot today, crown on the right. If I go and have a look at the MRG, which I bought, sorry, the MTG, this is a first generation MTG, crown's on the right. But on these first generations, crown is on the left, which is really interesting. So this person has two MRGs, 145, 176. Very tempting. I might have to put a bid in, and I kind of like the look of this second one here. This one, which is the blue and the gold. That's a nice looking MRG. It's an MRG. The best of the best. May not have been back then, but it is an early generation, first generation, left-hand crown MRG. I am actually very excited about this particular watch, so interesting one to check out. Last set of watches I want to show you, which I think is really, really interesting in the watch list site. I came across these particular ones. Now, you know I like to mod, and this person has taken that modding to a whole nother level. Look at the modifications being done. They've taken a GA2100 and done some beautifully embossed, engraved metal faces on these watches with some beautiful leather bands. I mean, this is a really nice piece of work. Even the clasp is all engraved as well. It's like someone here is obviously doing this out of passion. And it wasn't just one watch. They've done multiple. I really like this one. This one's beautiful. It's kind of got that silver and gold, but the bracelet is really, really nice on this as well. It's a really well done and nicely finished watch. And these watches go for around about $250. So this person really has a passion. I had a look at the breadth of all these different watches that they do. You know, a whole range of G-Shocks they've customized for sale. You know, some of them are a little bit plainer. Like this one to me almost looks like an SK mod modification kit, but it does look kind of nice. But some of the other ones here, what they've actually done to do the engraving and the modding of it, engraving and bossing, modding, it's actually really nicely done watches. I wish I had that sort of talent, and maybe it's something I'd have to go ahead and have a look at. But they've obviously done some really nice work to make these watches really look the best they can go ahead and actually do. Like, they are very trendy looking watches, very, very unique. I'd like to get my hands on one to sort of see more about it. So, interesting. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Some interesting watches. Our $100 million G-Shock watch is back. We've got some really nice MRGs that are there, which I'll have to go ahead and make a bid on, and some awesome modified GA 2100s, just really done, I think, as a work of passion. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the content. Again, please like and subscribe as you do so. Maybe one day I can afford to buy a modern MRG, or at least the Year of the Dragon watch, or Year of the Tiger watch, I should say. And thanks for taking some time to stop by.